So the used car market is really kind of going through some turmoil. There's a lot of shortages in used cars, especially cheap used cars that are good used cars. So there might be a solution to that coming up. We'll talk about here in a minute. But first of all, before we get into that, did anybody see this movie? This is a movie called Used Cars back in the early 80s. Kurt Russell was really the only person of any note in it. Very funny movie, kind of low quality production, but it was hilarious in terms of kind of slapstick comedy and kind of getting into the used car business again with the plaid jacket and the striped tie. But anyways, um, there aren't enough good cheap used cars and might not be for years. There's a reason for that. The shortages of production during Corona in 2019, 20, and 21, and the supply chain issues really put a crimp on how many cars, new cars were built. And remember, there's no used car factory. Used cars only come from the new cars that are now been used for 2 or 3 years coming onto the market. So if there was a shortage of new cars for 2 or 3 years, that's going to have an echo effect on the used car market, especially now that there's been inflation and these cars have gone up in value. So what is the solution to it? You may not want to hear this, but hear me out. EVs. Used EVs mostly end up about 25,000 according to this article. Your video will be back in 8 seconds. In the meantime, remember, you have access to live one-on-one consultation, undivided attention of a licensed certified expert in this subject and many others. We want to listen to your story. We want to hear your questions and give you expert advisement of your options. We want to tell you what we know about your situation and what options you have. Now back to your video. That's about as cheap as a good used car as you can get. Now, for many people, an electric vehicle is not usable for their lifestyle. If you go on long trips, if your range is going to be more than the battery, it's not usable. But if you need a second car, maybe a commuter car, maybe a car for a student, a son or daughter that's in high school, maybe an EV might be a good way to get a cheap used car for 20-something thousand dollars. If it's just around town, it also puts a limit on how far a person can go. That might be good for a teenager. Again, you may not want to hear it because a lot of people are against EVs, but if it's cheap, it's reliable, and they're available, who knows? Maybe that's the wave of the future for second vehicles. For a lot of people, you can't have one for your primary vehicle because you have to go on vacation, take long trips, haul things. That's not going to work for an EV. However, an EV might be a good fill in the gap in a family fleet. You have your primary vehicle, maybe even a second car that's a truck. Now you have a third car that's for a child or for a commuter car that is a 20-something thousand dollar EV. You don't have to worry about changing the oil. You don't have to worry about transmissions going bad. You don't have to worry about engines blowing up because it's all electric. Yeah, you got to double check the battery to make sure the battery's good. But this could be where the market's going. I know you have an opinion about this. Let us know in the comments what you think. Thank you for watching another video at actualhuman.com and describe.tv. Remember, if you have questions or comments about our videos, put them in the link below. Also, remember that you have availability and access to live one-on-one question and answer consultation with a licensed expert in a number of fields: investigations, insurance, surety bonds, civil court mediation, even things like real estate records research, real estate brokers, real estate mortgage lenders. In addition, you're going to find that experts are available in business segments, business development, marketing, advertising, certified licensed experts. So if you do find this content valuable and you want to delve more deeply into a subject, you can't ask YouTube a question, right? But if you want to talk to somebody live, an actual human, use the link below. Thanks for watching.